Now, the tourism sector has suffered significantly as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. Local tour operators have taken a beating with 5 months of suspended activity. And even with some relief from government, the road to recovery is going to be a bumpy one. For this, we're joined by Rachel Mahua. She'll be joining us a little later from the Off the Beaten Path, and Daniela Casetti, who is from Azaya Experience. Daniela, let me begin this conversation with you tonight. Good evening. Tell me about how your business has been affected by this lockdown.
Good evening, Kathy. It's been detrimental. I can tell you that I had lots of bookings for this year. I tried to focus mainly on the Gauteng area, also catering for Mpumalanga, KZN, Western Cape, and many other provinces. But we've had 100% cancellations. It's impossible to run a business when people cannot come into the country. So it's been absolutely detrimental. We went from being, even myself as a freelance as well, tour guide for other companies, from being booked the entire year to having absolutely nothing, no income whatsoever, and for the companies to tell us, okay, we will see you next year.
Sure. Let's talk about the packages that you, of course, would tailor for some of your clients who are coming from the international market. Now that there is no international market, but people are allowed to travel domestically, is that an opportunity for you?
It could definitely be. The issue, at least in my market, I cater especially for Spanish market. I am originally from Chile, from South America, so all my clients come from Spain or Chile, Argentina. We do Portuguese as well, Brazil. So we've mainly catered for those markets. So, as you can imagine, those countries have also been hit very, very hard with the coronavirus, and I don't see them traveling anytime now or until, even when they open the borders, it's going to be hard for the industry to recover. I mean, people are craving to travel, but at the same time, we are also cautious as to how we're going to retake and build again this industry that is virtually non-existent at the moment.
So then, Daniela, how have you been surviving?
It's been quite difficult. When I had my last trip with a group of about 40 tourists the 3rd week of March. And from there, literally everything was cancelled. So obviously, I was panicking. So the first thing that we did, myself and many of my colleagues, was to do the payment holidays with the banks for houses, for vehicles. I myself purchased a vehicle specifically for my industry, which is now just sitting in the garage doing absolutely nothing. But what's luckily for myself, I'm not the only breadwinner at home. I've got my husband, but many of my colleagues don't. I've got colleagues who've lost their homes, who struggle month to month to even get something to eat. It's been really, really tough. But as I said, for myself, I am now more involved with my husband. He owns his own production company, so luckily he's been needing my help quite a bit. So I've gone more into the production sector.
Daniela, I'm going to come back to you in a moment. Let me go to Rachel now. Rachel, talk to me about your particular business and how you've been impacted by COVID-19, especially being in the tourism sector. Hello, Rachel. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I'm just asking you about how your business has been affected by COVID-19. All right, it looks like we've lost Rachel on the line there, unfortunately. Daniela, let me continue with you then and perhaps take a look at how this period has forced you to become more innovative, and I wonder what you are planning the future to look like.
Okay, so I love the tourism sector. It's a passion for me. I love this country. I love the different cultures. I'm just experiencing or telling people what my experiences have been within the cultures in South Africa. I find that fascinating. I'm married to Basotho man, so for me it's even more interesting, and the clients are completely blown away by the experiences of rituals and things like that. But obviously right now that is not a possibility. But in the future, I must be honest, this COVID-19 for me has been bittersweet. And I'll explain why. Because from one side, financially, it's really been difficult. But it's allowed me to spend a lot more time with my family. I've got 3 small children. And when you're in the tourism industry, you travel a lot. I mean, I would say that I used to spend minimum 3 to 4 days a week away from home, or nights away from home. So that was very difficult on my family. So it's given me a chance to catch up on that time that I spent away. But also it's allowed me to pursue a passion that I had been suppressing for a long time. So I will definitely I continue looking into building, continue to build my company and receiving more tourism, and not just from the Spanish markets, from Portuguese markets, English markets. Now we have to be creative and extend to other markets, but as well as starting a new venture.
Daniela Casetti, we certainly wish you all of the best with your future endeavors, and keep us posted. We'll be calling you once the international borders are reopened, just to find out how business then is looking for people like Daniela, who, of course, if you're catering to that international market, you're the hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic.